right, we want to welcome everyone to another edition of the Autograph Dynasty Podcast with Fred Warner of the San Francisco 49ers. I'm your host, Jose Gonzalez. So we'll be talking to Fred a little bit about the first 2 weeks of the season, you know, how things went in the games against the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. So we would like to welcome once again to the show, Fred Warner.
Hey, good to be here.
Just to kind of start off, obviously you guys played a couple games so far, 1-1 record. The first game of the season you guys had against the Vikings. Can you tell us a little bit about, how it felt to prepare for your first NFL game and, what you felt like leading up to the game?
Yeah, it was really good, preparing for the game. I feel like at the NFL level, they give you every single tool that you'll need to really know your opponent when it comes to film and obviously getting reps during practice and walkthroughs. So going into that game, I felt very prepared and just excited to be able to be my first NFL game, against a great team.
And what was it like just kind of, entering the stadium, the field, and just getting ready to play? What was that feeling like?
I mean, they had a very nice stadium. Their crowd was really, really into it. Just when they were announcing their players, I feel like it was a pretty surreal moment. But at the same time, I was dialed in and ready to go and focusing on what I needed to do for the game.
Right. And you had a pretty big game there. You got, I believe it was 12 tackles.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of big plays. Can you tell us a little bit what happened when you caused that fumble on Dalvin Cook?
Yeah, that was actually a funny play, just because I thought the play was over. Honestly, like when I had gone when the play had started, and I turned around, saw Dalvin had broken several tackles, and he was about to really run free. So I started running after him, and I saw he was carrying the ball kind of loose. So I just swiped after the ball, and it obviously popped loose, and we got it. So in the end, it was a great play, but It started out as a bad play just because I thought it was over, but then I finished it off with a really good play. So.
Right. Yeah, no, it's just kind of chased them down a little bit, punched it out,
Yep.
And then got the ball back for the Niners there. What were some of the other plays that you can remember where you were like, oh man, you had it diagnosed, or you just felt like you read everything correctly and just made a good play?
There was a couple times where, throughout the whole game, they weren't showing anything that I hadn't seen before on film or anything that we hadn't prepared.
Right.
There was one instance where they ran just a zone concept where they had a stretch to the boundary, I think, and I took my zone read steps and saw Dalvin Cook running, saw open hole, so I ran to it, filled it, and hit him in the backfield. So, there was a couple of instances where I'm just, I felt comfortable out there. So that was the biggest thing for me.
And what was it like covering, the various running backs, wide receivers, tight ends that Minnesota had?
That was good too. We didn't play a lot of man coverage, but when we did, it wasn't overwhelming or anything. I felt like I made some plays on the ball where I could have even, got both hands on it and possibly intercepted it. So, looking forward to finally getting that opportunity.
Right. No, absolutely. And, obviously within the game, the team fell behind a little bit, in the second half. But what was it like, on the defense side of the ball when you guys were coming up with the big 3 and outs to get the ball back on offense?
That's our job at the end of the day is to get the ball back for the offense and to limit their offense to, in a perfect world, 0 points.
Right.
When we were getting those 3 and outs, that's when we all started to, really started clicking and, giving that enthusiasm out there on the field. That's where I started feeling it a lot more. And obviously couldn't really get it in the end, but it was still a great learning experience.
Right. And, obviously the game didn't turn out the way the Niners had hoped, but, it was still a well-played game, for the Niners and things like that. So I get the impression that this was not a game where guys were hanging their heads or anything like that.
Yeah, no, not at all. They are a very good team and they outplayed us, but a lot of what we did, was self-inflicted, and I feel like it was one of those tapes where we looked at it and learned a lot from it going into the next week against the Lions. So, it for sure was a learning experience.
Right. And, just kind of transitioning into kind of the Lions games, how was that build-up? How was it prepping for the Lions?
A lot similar to the week before, I felt. But, in the Vikings week, we had a couple more days of preparation just because of, it was the first game of the season from, going from preseason to the regular season. So, I really had to make sure I took every single day seriously, even though I was already doing that before. But, we knew they were going to have a great quarterback, good receivers, and, some good running backs. So you had to be prepared. Right.
And so in the game against the Lions, that was your first regular season game at Levi's Stadium. What was that experience like playing in front of the home crowd?
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. I mean, that was the first game I even got to play in Levi's Stadium because in preseason I missed out on both games where we were at home. One, I was injured, and then two, they sat me out. It was a great experience being out there and feeding off their energy.
Right. And I'm sure it was good to see a lot of red in the stands, in 49ers colors and supporting the team. And so against the Lions, can you tell us a little bit about kind of, some plays that stood out in your mind or that you were like, oh, yes, really good play, diagnosed it, things like that?
Trying to think of a couple. There were a couple instances where I was in pass coverage and, just the timer in my head was telling me that, the ball's going to be checked down pretty soon. So I came down and made a couple hits on the running backs. But, for the most part, I think those were kind of the plays that stuck out the most to me.
Right. And, obviously the game was the Niners got out to a pretty good lead, and then it got a little bit tight at the end. But, you guys made the kind of the last stand, to kind of hold off the Lions' last chance at kind of tying the game. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened during that last series when you guys were, holding them off?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that was the most crucial part of the game. We knew that they were going to try and get to the sideline and, try and make big plays to obviously get themselves back in the game. And all we had to do was do our job, at the end of the day. And luckily had everything go our way towards the end there and got the win.
What was it like, celebrating your first win in the NFL?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, at the end of the day, a win's a win, but we knew that we didn't play our best ball. There were feelings of, man, I thought we left some plays out there and we felt like we could have played a lot better. But like I said, a win's a win, so it was good to finally get that first win under our belt, and especially doing it at home too.
And, so far I think you have 22 tackles so far in the year, I may be wrong, correct me if I am wrong on this one. Did you get a sack in either game yet or no?
No, I haven't gotten any sacks yet.
All right, so you're kind of looking forward to getting that one under your belt.
Yep.
All right. And we did see that on a couple of plays you were, I think you did blitz the quarterback a little bit. Was that kind of like kind of a design thing, or was it more just kind of like on the fly, or?
No, yeah. Anytime I'm going after the quarterback, it's usually by design. If I'm in pass coverage, there's rarely any situation where I'll just go and start blitzing just because, you want to stay covered. But, yeah.
Okay. What are some of the things that, you hope to build upon throughout each game? Like, what are some goals you may have for yourself that you're like, I wish I could do this a little bit better, or, that sort of thing?
Yeah, just, continuing to, get off the blocks and make tackles. Obviously, that's the job of, as linebackers. But also just playing really hard out there because if you're constantly running the ball, good things are going to happen. There are tip balls that I might be able to, get opportunities on and then continuing to attack the ball, and causing those forced fumbles, getting the ball back for our offense. That's what I'm trying to work on.
Right. And, with each game, obviously, you learn a couple things or two. And then, we saw kind of also that Richard Sherman was kind of having, was able to kind of, help guys out, kind of teach them a couple things. Has he kind of like to help out, shown you anything, or is it mostly just kind of the DBs?
Positional-wise, he hasn't really, try to teach me any linebacker tips because he's never played linebacker. Right. But, he's a great leader for not only the defense but for the whole team.
Sure.
it's great to have him, on the squad.
Oh, absolutely. And so this week you guys are traveling to Kansas City. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're feeling about the game coming up?
Yeah, I'm really excited. There's a great venue, a great stadium that they play in. Obviously very loud, so we won't really hear the noise on defense because they try to keep it quiet on offense. But it's a great team, and I think it's a good challenge for us. And obviously I will be very prepared when the time comes. Right.
And obviously they have a lot of weapons on offense. So I'm sure you're going to be covering a lot of the different whether it be Kareem Hunt or Travis Kelce or whoever it may be. So are you looking forward to that challenge?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Whatever the coaches ask me to do, that's what I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability. So, at the end of the day, you gotta make sure your man doesn't catch the ball. Right.
By any means necessary.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. And also this week, you'll have a chance to. It looks like have a chance to play with Reuben Foster, who's coming back. Can you tell us a little about how how you guys are going to try to mesh, or that sort of thing?
Reuben, at the end of the day, he's a great, outstanding football player and very smart. And he brings a lot of energy to this defense, and so we're all excited to have him back. Obviously, me included. And I'm just gonna keep doing what the coach asked me to do.
Absolutely. Obviously, you guys have a tough schedule to begin the season. I think after Kansas City, I think you guys are playing the Chargers, I want to say. So is kind of with that tough schedule, is it kind of like just kind of taking it week by week, that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I usually don't really know what team we play next during the week, so because I'm just focused on who we're playing this week. So taking it day by day and like you said, week by week.
Okay. And just kind of transitioning kind of away from the football stuff, just to kind of get some fan questions in, that got sent in. So one of the questions we get asked a lot is, in terms of like what are people's favorite TV shows or music they're listening to. So what are some of the TV shows you're watching right now that you're really into, or things like that?
That's a good question. I'm not really a big TV person. I do play video games here and there when I have off time. I just bought the new Spider-Man game, which is on for PS4. It's pretty good.
Okay.
I'm usually, if I'm watching TV, it's usually ESPN or Sports Center or something like that. So I don't even have cable. So
Okay. So that kind of answers that question. Probably more Sports Center or sports related sort of thing. Kind of makes sense as well.
Of course.
What about in terms of music? Who are some of the artists you're really listening to right now?
I've always listened to Drake. Some other people I listen to, especially like on game day and stuff, is Future.
Okay.
Recently Lil Baby and Gunna. I mix it up. It depends on how I'm feeling. So,
what's your favorite song off the Scorpion album?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if I can really think of one. Think on top of my head right now. We'll probably have to get back on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would have to pick Survival. Just kind of, I like the way that song started out the album.
Okay. Yeah.
That would be my choice for
I kind of like Finesse. Finesse was a good song. Yeah.
Okay. The one with Jay-Z I also liked. I thought that beat was, I think DJ Paul produced that one.
Okay.
So I like that one as well. That was a good one. And so what are, I know you just kind of came into the team. But have you done any sort of the charity events that the team organizes?
Yeah. So last week I helped feed the homeless with some of my teammates last week down. I think it was downtown San Jose. And yeah, we had a great time. It was just getting away from football a little bit and helping some people out.
Okay. And was that was it like just serving meals or kind of outreach, or what was kind of the event?
We were serving meals and also just like getting to know the people and spending some time with them. That was kind of the gist of it.
Okay. And do you know if the Niners have any other of these types of events coming up, the kind of the charity ones?
I'm not exactly sure. I know tonight the rookies are going to be talking to some high school kids, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
just some mentorship stuff, and so I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is going to be your primary message to the kids?
Oh man, probably just to work hard. You know, anything that you want in life, you just got to work hard for it.
Okay. And is this kind of the whole rookie class, or just kind of a couple of guys?
Yeah, I think it's the whole rookie class.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like it'll be a pretty good event there. One other question that we get a lot of is who is, and if you may have answered this one before, but maybe the answer changed. Who's kind of like the biggest jokester on the team?
Biggest jokester on the team.
Kind of like playing jokes.
I'm not sure who I said before, but it's for sure DJ Reed.
It might have been DJ Reed. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, yeah, he's for sure. He's a character. I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to choose him.
Oh, okay. I think that's what you said last time too.
Okay, well there you go. Still the same.
And he had a pretty big play on Sunday.
Oh yeah, it was a huge play.
Kind of got called back on the that face mask. I don't know about that call, by the way, but
yeah.
But definitely had a big play there. Who is anyone in charge of the music? Or does it kind of rotate in the locker room?
I'm not sure. I mean, usually I think Malcolm Smith has a pretty big. He has a pretty big speaker on it next to his locker that he blasts music on, or Kendrick Bourne.
Okay.
Pierre Garçon, all those guys are usually the ones blasting their music. So.
Okay. So they're the ones kind of in charge of all the tunes on
in the locker room. Yeah.
Okay. As the season progresses, obviously we'll be able to talk to you a little bit more about, some of the other games and things like that. And, I'm sure you'll do other events with the Niners and, of course, with, autograph signings, things like that, which I'm sure, I know you're looking forward to kind of meeting all the fans as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, of course. I'm, looking forward to it. Obviously, I love the faithful and what they do for our team. So, yeah, it should be a good time.
Absolutely. For the next podcast, we'll also just send out, notices on, Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, just to kind of get some questions from the fans so they can send them in. That way you can kind of, give them a couple of answers here and there. We'll pick out the questions too, just to make sure they're family friendly.
Oh, yeah,
friendly.
Yeah, no problem.
But we want to thank once again Fred Warner for taking a little bit of time out of his day to talk with us, and we will talk to Fred pretty soon on the next episode of the podcast.